Oh yeah, that tree sure turned out good. Hello, April 14th, 2017 today, 12:20 p.m. That's the Roaring River behind me, near Jumper Plains in the Duck Mountains of Manitoba. This is where I last left off on my long lake video that's also on YouTube, where I tried to kayak down this pass and hit a bunch of sweepers, spruce that were falling down, blow down across the river. So I ended up dragging my kayak all the way out the quad trails, about 7 kilometers to a main road. Now I'm back and I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna wade across this river and go and check out Jumper Plains and some other points of interest where old mill sites were located around Mcgaw Lake. I was hoping to quad a little further, but this is as far as I'm gonna make it, as the water is too high in mid-April here. It's gonna be icy cold, and I'm actually gonna leave my boots on for this one. Normally I would take my boots and socks off, but it's pretty rocky. I'll worry about drying out on the other side or something. So just gonna find the lowest spot possible. Save myself a bit of energy, and I don't have a very fancy backpack today, just this birthday bag with a bungee cord. Keeping it simple. This is my best bet right here. So I'm going in. Oh yeah. It's cold. Knee deep, waist deep. That's ice cold. Across the river, climbed this hill. That was cold. Now my feet are soaked and my socks are soaked, but at least I kept my footing. I didn't fall, didn't go in the water past my waist. Saved myself in that way. Now if I do get cold, I just gotta stop and make a fire. What a beautiful view. Interesting find. Now this spruce tree right here, this was my campsite all the way back to 2003 and 2004 maybe. So that's, I don't know, 13, 14 years ago already. Jeez. Time flies, and my tent was right here 1 year. Another year I had a lean-to shelter just right there up on that hill. And this coffee can, it's now 2017, 13 years later, or 14 years later, and I cooked out of this coffee can. I should pack it up and take it out of here really, but for now I'm just gonna put it in this spruce tree. So that's a coffee can tree. Well, 20 minutes since I crossed the Roaring River. And when I crossed the Roaring River, that was pretty cold. Got a pretty deep chill. But I know my limits, and to stop and spend an hour making a fire, an hour drying my boots. I had that choice, or the choice just walk with wet clothes for a while. And the fact is, if I dried off, the next creek I was going to cross, the same thing was going to happen. So I'd be doing that all day. So what I learned over the years is, with wet socks and shoes, just knowing my limits, I can keep going for a bit, and actually kind of traps the heat inside the boots, and I find I stay warmer that way than opposed to stopping and trying to dry off every time. But of course there is those times where get kind of upper body chill, absolutely have to stop. Looks like there was a disaster here, blowdown. I don't think I'm gonna find my old shelter anymore. This is Jumper Plains, right in the center of Duck Mountain, Manitoba, and it's April 14th, 2017. Beautiful landscape. Well, my backpack idea didn't work out too great with that bungee cord. Got ripped to shreds, and now I'm carrying a 10-pound moose antler too. That doesn't make it very comfortable. You see lots of rubs on the aspen here, young aspen. Thick hazel. Okay, I just crossed TP Creek and I'm at a cabin here. Old bottle. Don't see a date on it. Small mammal bones. So I'm sure if I come back here at night, there's going to be an owl hanging around here. There's at least a dozen of these. There's a big bone. Hip bone of a mouse probably. There's a moose shed. Not bad. Still brown. I'll be. There's two. Oh, there's two moose sheds. Looks like a pair. So two more moose sheds back to back. Just GPS that. That means I have to come back this way. So on Flash Earth, or Zoom.Earth, this area looked like it was a potential old cabin site. So that's what brought me here. This is actually a mineral lick. Kind of a spring coming out of the ground here. Water seeping out of the banks. Just found a field drum. I may be close to an old road. Oh, here's a bottle. That's a good sign. Looks like dish soap. Must be close to the old logging road. Let's keep going up here. Oh, wait a second. I think I may have just found something. I think I have found the old cabin. Wow. I found the old cabin. Unreal. I have located the old cabin. Possibly where my grandpa stayed many years ago. Let's see what we can find. Now, just look around and see how grown in all these alders and birch are. This definitely ages the place. So here we have the stove. Stovetop, it looks like. 920A. Barrel. That's been there for a while. Yeah. Back here we got very old firewood. Still burnable. Here's the bed frame. Bed frames always seem to last so long. Everything else crumbles around them. Oh, nails everywhere. Well, it's probably been a good 30 years, I would say, until anybody's laid down on this bed and slept under this roof, this cabin. So it feels good to be the first one to do that in ages. It's pretty much like new. Have a good night. This bed frame's actually still pretty good. Still got lots of spring in it. Feels good to locate this. Well, I've had this on my agenda for years to come back here and track down a cabin I heard about from my grandpa and grandma. And I found it. The remains of this cabin. Quite an amazing sight. I just gotta be careful not to get a nail through the leg. There it is. Found it. Old cooking pot, probably was used when this cabin was here. Makes sense, eh? Not sure what else to say about it. It's a pretty nice pot, nice handle. Probably made a lot better than all that junk you find nowadays. Well, get that fired up there. Get some water in there. Perfect. Well, imagine that. There it is. There's a comb. Imagine that. That's a nice comb. Probably hasn't been used for a couple decades, so let me be the first. Well, that feels better. I'm sure that's got my hair fixed up nice. Now that's a keepsake. Solid as a rock. Now that is an artifact. Teapot. Throw it in the pot. Imperial antifreeze. That looks familiar. What I really need is a date. That would be a great indicator, wouldn't it? Zipper off a pair of pants. Handle off the wood stove. Every time I do this, it's a thrilling experience to look back in our history and realize right here, 30, 40 years ago, whatever it was, somebody was camping here, cooking on that, all that pile of stuff I found, and logging in this backcountry. It's amazing to kind of relive that moment for just today, basically. Certainly looks like a man-made clearing up here. This may be where the sawmill was located. This was likely their road right here. This is extremely old. Normally I find stumps to look at. Here I don't have anything. Tree stand, very old tree stand. There's the old chair. I'm quite positive this area I'm standing in is where the decking would have been, the sawmill. Not much has grown back, and the trees around it are probably 40 or 50 years old at least. This thick bush is doing a number on me. It's tough pushing through. Swamp 2. Old stumps along a winter road. This is a nice time of year to walk across swamps. They're still frozen up pretty good. And this is the nicest walking I've had all day. Nice and open. There should be some moose sheds around here. I'm walking on the old logging road right now. They used to use these swamps and creeks and everything as roads. Just had to freeze them in. Saved a lot of cutting through timber to build a road. All this was winter access. I'm off the swamp on the edge of it. Broke through the ice once out in the middle. But the problem is trying to pull yourself out. Every time you push down, you just keep breaking the ice. So I had to get myself back to a safe point on the shore quickly. And again, pretty wet, but if I was stopping and making a fire every time something like that happened, wouldn't be able to go very far in the Duck Mountain. Well, here's Little Mcgaw Lake. It's April 14, 2017, about 5:30 p.m. and I'm at Little Mcgaw Lake in the Duck Mountains, Manitoba. There's moose shed number 4. Pretty white. A little bit of brown on it. Not sure if I can take it. This is point of interest number 2 on the map. It's just a swamp. So, may have been a road at one time, but no mill activity here. One last look at Little Mcgaw. Walking through all this blowdown. The whole hillside is blowdown. There's Hart Hill. It's starting to rain, so it's time to put away the camera. I can see Hart Hill off in the distance. I lost sight of the lake, but I gotta walk 1.8 kilometers straight west to get to the cabin again. And I think I'm just gonna go full speed until I get there, because I only have an hour of daylight. Good morning, it's day 2, April 15th, 2017, about 7 a.m. And I had a heck of a rough night. I was coming back from Little Mcgaw Lake heading straight west. And on my GPS, I had about 600 meters to go until I hit this trail, this quad trail here. And I know this trail pretty good over the years, so I reached in my pocket to check how far I was, and my GPS was gone. And I only had about 30 minutes of daylight to work with. And it was raining, and I was soaked to the bone already. Unfortunately, I spent a little bit of time looking for it, but it wasn't worth the effort as a needle in a haystack in that thick brush. And if I kept searching until dark, I would have been extremely lucky to find it. But if I didn't find it, I probably wouldn't find my way out either. So I chose to wing it and go the last 600 meters, just heading downhill towards TP Creek, because I knew I had to hit the trail if I did that. Whereas if I went back for the GPS, I may not find it. Back at the mineral lick. Found them without the GPS. Well, here's 3 of the 5. I have to go back and get 2 more. It's going to be difficult carrying this home. I made it across the Roaring River. As you can see, I threw the moose antlers across, and My jacket didn't quite make it with all the supplies in it. Luckily, I was able to retrieve it out of the rapids. Got caught up on a stick. TP Creek emerging with Roaring River.